Namaskar. Good evening, viewers. It's 9 p.m. and you're watching the news live on Sansad TV. I'm Rajiv, Kumar Singh. Let's get started with the top 5 headlines this evening. Tackling trans-border crimes is a collective responsibility of centre and the states, asserts Home Minister Amit Shah at Chintan Shivir for Home Ministers. Says by 2024, all states will have NIA offices. Samajwadi Party leader Azam Khan sentenced to 3 years in jail for provocative speech case in 2019. Conviction disqualifies him from the membership of the State Assembly. 76th Infantry Day of the Indian Army. Nation salutes the courage, sacrifice and service of soldiers. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh takes part in Shaurya Divas event in Jammu and Kashmir. Thousands evacuated from Kherson as Ukraine's invasion intensifies. Heavy damage reported to its power plants. BCCI announces a path-breaking decision, declares that match fees paid to both men and women cricketers will be the same. A quick look at some more important news in our flash segment. Supreme Court says custodial interrogation of accused may not be required in many cases, but that does not mean that the accused should be granted anticipatory bail. Government striving for 1.2 billion direct internet connection by 2025-26. Satellite communications to drive India's tech ambitions, asserts MOS IT Rajiv Chandrasekhar. Maoists abduct and kill brother of a journalist on suspicion of being police informer in Chhattisgarh. Haryana CM Manohar Lal denies a role in Ram Rahim's parole ahead of Adampur Bypole and Panchayat elections in Haryana on 3rd of November. CBI arrests Sanjoy Kumar Singh, director of Tulips Infinite Private Limited in 2018 case in connection with chit fund scam. Prime Minister Modi expresses happiness over resumption of Niral Matharan toy train in Maharashtra. Says it will make the scenic journey more memorable. Union Minister G. Kishan Reddy refutes allegations of BJP trying to lure TRS legislators in Telangana, demands inquiry by CBI or a Supreme Court judge into the episode. Case of a former political advisor accused of raping colleague inside Australia's Parliament House aborted after juror misconduct. Accused Bruce Lehrman had pleaded not guilty. Mexico's northeastern border state of Tamaulipas recognizes same-sex marriage, makes it legal in every district across the country. And President Draupadi Murmu pays homage to former President Dr. K.R. Narayanan on his birth anniversary at Rashtrapati Bhavan. On to our top story. It is the collective responsibility of the states and the centre to effectively tackle trans-border crimes, Home Minister Amit Shah said on Thursday. Amit Shah was addressing a 2-day Chintan Shivir to prepare an action plan for the implementation of Vision 2047 and Panchpran announced in Prime Minister Modi's Independence Day speech. Amit Shah said that by 2024, all states will have NIA offices. He asserted that the government has taken strong steps against NGOs that were obstructing the development of India.
रिसोर्स का रेशनल उपयोग बढ़ाने के लिए भी नई पद्धतियों को हमने ढूंढना पड़ेगा और रिसोर्स का इंटीग्रेशन कर राज्य के साथ भी इंटीग्रेशन कर रिसोर्स का कैसे बचाव हो सकता है उस दिशा में भी हमने आगे बढ़ना पड़ेगा। पूरे देश के राज्य एक दिशा में कानून और व्यवस्था की दृष्टि से आगे बढ़े, एक साझा रणनीति और साझा रोड मैप यहाँ से हम बनाकर जाए, ये हम सब से पूरे देश को अपेक्षा है।
Home Minister Amit Shah flagged off 4 projects worth over rupees 6,600 crore during the Jan Uttan rally in Faridabad, Haryana. The projects include the Haryana Orbital Rail Corridor, a project that costs rupees 5,600 crore. Home Minister also inaugurated rail coach refurbishment factories spread over 161 acres at Sonipat, the elevated railway track at Rohtak and the Haryana Police residential complex in Bhonsi.
50 वर्ष की सरकारें एक और हमारे मनोहर लाल की 8 साल एक और, पलड़ा हमारा भारी है भाई, पलड़ा हमारा भारी है। मित्रों, हमने विरासत में मिले फटेहाल सिस्टम को बदला है, भ्रष्टाचार पर अंकुश लगाया है, भाई भतीजावाद को नसीहत किया है और यहां पर मोदी जी का लाभ, मोदी जी की योजनाओं को हर गरीब तक पहुंचाया है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to Rishi Sunak on Thursday, congratulating him on assuming charge as the new Prime Minister of Britain. In a tweet, Prime Minister Modi said they will work together to strengthen comprehensive strategic partnership between the two countries. Both Prime Ministers also agreed on the need to conclude comprehensive and balanced FTA. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on Thursday said Pakistan is committing atrocities against people in its occupied Kashmir and will have to bear its consequences. Hinting at retrieving Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, POK, the minister said the goal of overall development in the twin union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh will be achieved after reaching Gilgit and Baltistan, parts of POK. Rajnath Singh was addressing the Shaurya Divas event that commemorated the landing at Srinagar by Indian Air Force on this day in 1947. He said that in the last few years, some so-called intellectuals have cried human rights violations when actions were taken against terrorists.
हमारी सेनाओं ने अदम्य साहस और शौर्य का परिचय देते हुए दुश्मनों को पीछे हटने पर मजबूर कर दिया और जम्मू कश्मीर समेत पूरे देश की संप्रभुता की रक्षा की। मानवता के धर्म के प्रति हमारी सेनाओं का चरित्र था जो साल दर साल और सुदृढ़ होता गया। आग में तप कर सोना जैसे दिन ब दिन निखरता जाता है, वैसे ही हमारी सेनाएं पिछले 75 सालों में तप कर निखरी हैं और उनको पहली तपिश 1947 में ही मिली थी, जिसकी रोशनी में उन्होंने अपने गौरवशाली इतिहास का पहला अध्याय लिखा है।
In a reply to the Election Commission, the BJP has made a distinction between freebies and welfareism. The BJP suggested that parties should place emphasis on voter empowerment and capacity building rather than increase the dependency of people. The BJP was spelling out its stance on the issue in response to the Election Commission earlier this month, seeking the views of all parties on its proposal to amend the Model Code of Conduct. The Commission asked all political parties to share their views on the matter by 19th October. The BJP said in its reply that freebies are meant for luring voters, while welfareism is a policy intervention for inclusive growth. Scrutiny of nomination papers for Himachal Pradesh Assembly election was completed on Thursday. 561 candidates filed their nominations for the election to this assembly of 68 members. These include candidates from different parties as well as independent candidates. A total of 775 nominations were filed. The next World Hindi Conference will be organized in Nadi, Fiji from 15th to 17th February 2023. Announcing this on Thursday, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar launched the logo and website of the 12th World Hindi Conference. The mascot of the World Hindi Conference has been selected through a global competition. 1,000 436 entries were received, and out of these 78 entries were finalized. The mascot was, as envisioned by Munna Kushwaha of Mumbai, was selected.
हिंदी का उपयोग यूनेस्को में तो हो ही रहा है। जब यूएन में जो उनकी जो मुख्य स्थल जो है, हेडक्वार्टर्स जो है, वहाँ उसका उपयोग अभी तक हम लोग जो हैं, हमारा एक एमओयू है यूएन के साथ, वो सोशल मीडिया में उसका उपयोग कर रहे हैं, न्यूज़लेटर्स में उसका उपयोग कर रहे हैं। ये थोड़ा समय लगेगा इसको बढ़ाने में, क्योंकि इतना आसान भी नहीं है कि यूएन की प्रक्रिया में एक बिल्कुल नई भाषा डालें। इसमें एक काम जारी है, तो इसमें प्रगति तो हुई है और हमारी आशा है, हमारी अपेक्षा है कि ये आगे बढ़ेगा।
And now let's take a look at other news from across the nation. The outgoing ambassador of Qatar, Mohammed Khattar Ibrahim Al Khattar, along with a delegation, called on Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar in the Vice President's house. The Indian Army is celebrating the 75th National Infantry Day today. Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan paid tributes to the martyrs at the National War Memorial, marking the occasion. Later, he also flagged off the Bike Rally 2022. Infantry Day pays tribute to the courageous soldiers who fought and were martyred fighting the Pakistan Army's invasion of Kashmir at the time of independence. The portals of Kedarnath and Yamunotri were closed for the winter season amidst Vedic chanting, rituals and devotional tunes of the army band. A large number of devotees witnessed the closure of the doors on the occasion. The sanctum sanctorum and the main gate were closed in the presence of the district administration. After the closure of the doors, the Panchmukhi Doli of Lord Kedarnath left for the winter seat of Sri Omkareshwar Temple, Okimat. The Indira Gandhi International Airport in Delhi, one of the best airports in India and South Asia, has been ranked as the world's 10th busiest airport in October this year. The airport has improved its ranking from 14th place. 7 fishermen from Thanga Chimadam village near Rameshwaram were arrested by Sri Lankan Navy personnel at Nedumthivu on charges including poaching in the early hours on Thursday. All the arrested had ventured into the sea in a mechanized boat. And now, news from the world of business and economy. Gujarat bagged the first of its kind mega deal with Tata and Airbus to manufacture dual-use transport aircraft. Prime Minister Modi will lay the foundation stone of the plant in Vadodara on Sunday. The Tata Airbus project, which is set to cost rupees 22,000 crore, will be a shot in the arm for Make in India project. The RBI's Monetary Policy Committee will hold a special meeting on 3rd of November to discuss rising inflation. Despite taking several measures, the RBI has failed to rein in rising inflation, which has remained well above the 6% limit for a straight 3 quarters. Farmers across Punjab have been paid nearly 12,000 crore so far, with more than 81 lakh metric ton of paddy procurement undertaken in the current Kharif marketing season. Recovering from yesterday's loss, the BSE Sensex recorded a jump of 0.36%, closing just below the 60,000 mark. NSE in Nifty too made gains of 0.5% to close well above the 17,000 mark. Asian markets made swift gains today as indices including Hang Seng, Kospi and Taiwan registered gains of more than 1.5%. Kospi was the best performer, with markets climbing by as much as 1.74%. Meanwhile, Nasdaq registered marginal gains of 0.16%. Time now for a short break in the bulletin. Lots more coming up on the other side. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. Time now for all the updates from the Russia-Ukraine war front. Ukraine boosted forces in the northern region near Belarus to counter possible Russian attack across the border. Officials said Russia has continued to launch Iranian-made Shahid drones from Belarusian territory. Belarus is Russia's main ally in the conflict and has allowed Russian forces to use its territory to attack Ukraine. The Russian-controlled Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in southeastern Ukraine remains in a stable condition after missile strikes in the city of Enerhoda, where the plant is located. The cooling system fountains of the plant were seen operating normally on Tuesday, days after missiles were fired from the city's municipal building and industrial areas. 70,000 residents were evacuated from the strategic city of Kherson as heavy fighting and attacks on power infrastructure continued. Ukraine has pushed ahead with an offensive to reclaim Kherson that was captured by Russian forces during the first days of the conflict. Members of the regional administration were included in the evacuation. Russian TV personality Ksenia Sobchak, the daughter of Russian President Vladimir Putin's one-time boss, arrived in Lithuania on an Israeli passport after fleeing Russian investigators who raided her home this week. Lithuania said it had no evidence of any threat that Sobchak could pose to national security. Syrian and Russian troops conducted joint military drills in Syria involving ground and air forces. Russian and Syrian troops simulated attacking enemy positions under the cover of artillery shelling and airstrikes by warplanes and helicopters. Paratroopers also took part in the war games, taking over positions on overlooking hills. Ukrainian authorities exhumed a mass grave in the Kharkiv region on Wednesday, believed to contain the bodies of 17 Ukrainian soldiers killed in fighting with Russian forces some 6 months ago. The men were reportedly killed in a Russian offensive on the village near Borova on Kharkiv's border with the Luhansk region in April. Russian troops continued to shell Bakhmut in Donetsk region on Wednesday, trying to push Ukrainian forces from a town. There hasn't been any electricity in Bakhmut for the last month. No water, and almost all stops were closed or destroyed. On Wednesday, 3 more bodies were found of people killed in recent shelling. After a meeting between President Joe Biden and Israeli President Isaac Herzog, the White House stressed that Israel is free to make its own decision about how best to help Ukraine in its war against Russia. Asked about Ukraine, President Zelensky's criticism that Israel has so far refrained from providing advanced weaponry to Kiev, the U.S. said every nation state has their own national security concerns. And now, news from some other parts of the globe. Lebanon approved a landmark U.S. brokered deal laying out its maritime boundary with Israel on Thursday. Lebanese officials said it marked the beginning of a new era. The approval marks a diplomatic departure from decades of hostility and a possible opening to offshore energy exploration. The deal is to be signed separately by top officials in Lebanon and in Jerusalem by Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid after his cabinet's approval. Iran has sanctioned 8 European Union bodies and 12 individuals for supporting what it called terrorism, violence and extremism during ongoing protests in Iran. The EU had imposed sanctions on Shahid Aviation Industries in Iran and 3 Iranian armed forces generals for undermining Ukraine's territorial integrity by helping to supply drones to Russia to use in the war against its neighbor. Southeast Asian foreign ministers held a special meeting Thursday in Jakarta to discuss ways to deal with a growing crisis in Myanmar. Recent events in Myanmar, including a military airstrike on Sunday that reportedly killed as many as 80 members of the Kachin ethnic minority, have heightened worries about the association of Southeast Asian nations. U.S. Secretary of State Antony J. Blinken hosted a Diwali reception at the State Department on Wednesday. According to the State Department, the event recognizes the importance the Biden administration places on working with faith communities to advance shared interests. Clashes in Bolivian cities on Wednesday extended to capital La Paz, where protesters threw firecrackers against police clad in riot gear. The violent protest followed a 5-day-long strike called by opposition lawmakers that proposed a referendum to increase the country's fiscal budget. And time now for all the latest from the world of sports. In a historic move, the BCCI has decided to pay equal match fees to both men and women cricketers. Announcing the decision, the BCCI Secretary Shah said BCCI is taking the first step towards eradicating discrimination. New Zealand cricket was the first board to introduce uniform match fees. The cricketing world has welcomed the move. India beat Netherlands by 56 runs in their second group match of the T20 World Cup. India posted 179 for 2 batting first. Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma and Kumar Yadav scored half centuries. Indian bowlers restrict Netherlands to 123 for 9. Zimbabwe defeat Pakistan in a nail-biter of a contest by 1 solitary run to put the 2009 champions at the verge of exit from the T20 World Cup at the group stage itself. Pakistan could reach 129, chasing a target of 131. South Africa beat Bangladesh by 104 runs in the T20 World Cup Group 2 match. South Africa posts an imposing 205 for 5, riding on Riley Russo's whirlwind 56-ball 109. The Proteas then bowl out Bangladesh for 101. Andre Nokia takes 4 for 10. Wicketkeeper Matthew Wade today became the second Australian player after Adam Zampa to test positive for COVID-19 a day ahead of the defending champions' crucial T20 World Cup match against England. Liverpool see off Ajax 3-0 to book place in the Champions League last 16. Inter Milan also qualified to eliminate Barcelona, who slipped to a tame defeat by Bayern Munich. And with this, it's a wrap of the bulletin. Stay tuned to Sansad TV for all the latest updates round the clock. Do share with us your feedback on our social media platforms. Thanks for watching. Good night.